Hi class, and welcome to our video lesson on circles. When we discuss circles today, we need to understand what the equation of a circle is. It's this one right here, x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals the radius squared. So h and k, those two letters, are the center of our circle. If I have a circle right here, the center is that point that's right in the middle. And it is at the coordinates of h, k. So every center has this point for an x-axis, this point for a y-axis. The radius is the distance from the center of the circle to the outside of the circle, or to the edge of the circle. And every radius is congruent, so I can draw any number of radii, I guess. I could draw any number of those, and they would all be congruent. And the radius is found by taking the square root of this number. That's how you get r right here. Or if you're given the radius and you have to put it into the equation, you have to square it, because r squared goes right there. So those are the main things that you need to know for the equation of a circle. So if we're looking at this one, write the equation of this circle and also graph the circle. So our formula, you don't have to write this down, but again, it's x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals the radius squared. So h goes right here, k goes right here, and then my radius 2 goes right there. So it's x minus h, so x minus a minus 1 squared, plus y minus k, and k is a negative 5 squared. That equals the radius, which is 2 squared. So as we completely simplify this, minus a minus makes plus. So it's x plus 1 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. So this is one of our answers on this one. So as you can see, class, it's basically always the opposite for your binomial squared. It's x plus 1 squared, y plus 5 squared. So that's going to be very consistent as we go through this lesson with circles. So now if we graph it, our radius is at left 1, down 5, so that's where that red dot is right now. Now it's green. And then our radius is 2 units. So go 2 in every direction. We're not going to make perfect circles. At least I'm terrible at drawing circles. Maybe you're better than me. But go 2 in every direction so you get a good radius in all 4 directions. And then sketch the circle as close as you can. You guys know what a circle looks like, so you guys can sketch it as best as you can. There's my circle. It's a little bit not quite round, but it's close enough. So that's what we get for problem number 1. For problem number 2, we don't have the radius, nor do we have the center of our circle. We always need a center and a radius to put it into the equation. We do have the endpoints. So a negative 4, 1, this point right here, and right 4 down 5, these 2 points are the endpoints of a diameter. So if you pause the video for a second, class, I want you to think about something. Where would the center be at? Pause the video and see if you could find where the center would be at. If we just quickly sketch this, there's a diameter, or there's the endpoints of a diameter, and so the radius would probably be somewhere in like this area, just to give you a thought about what it might look like. So if these 2 points are the endpoints of a diameter, right smack dab in the middle is where the center would be. So it's the middle of these 2 points. When we talk about the middle of 2 points, we talk about the midpoint. So the center is at the midpoint. So we're going to add up the x's, a negative 4 plus 4 divided by 2. And we're going to add up the y's and divide by 2. 1 plus a negative 5 divided by 2. So where's our center at? Our center is at 0 divided by 2 and a negative 4 divided by 2. So finally, the center of our circle is at the point 0, negative 2. 0, negative 2, there is our center. Maybe some of you guessed that when you tried it on your own. Don't guess though, make sure you always use the midpoint formula. So 0, negative 2 is our center. So now we could say, well, it's x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared, y minus a minus 2 quantity squared. That equals the radius squared. Stink, what the world is the radius? We don't have it. So if I want to find the radius, that's the distance from here to there. Let me say that again. It's the distance from this point to this point. How do I find distance on a coordinate grid? I use the distance formula, do I not? The distance formula will give me the distance from one point to the other. So 0, -2, and right 4 down 5, 4, -5. I got to find the distance between those 2 points, and that's my radius. To let you know, class, you could also find the distance from here to there. That would also be the radius, because it's also the distance from the middle of the circle to the edge of the circle. So we have the distance equals the square root of x2 minus x1, 4 minus 0 squared, plus y2 minus y1, a -5 minus -2, that quantity squared. Using the distance formula here, distance equals the square root x2 minus x1 quantity squared, plus y2 minus y1, that quantity squared. So I simplify this. 4 minus 0 is 4. 4 squared is 16. -5 plus 2 is a -3. -3 squared is 9. So it is the square root of 25. So my radius is 5 units. So in my equation right here, on the right side of the equation goes r squared. So r squared is the number that goes on the right side of the equation. So my answer here for the equation of this circle is x minus 0 quantity squared plus y plus 2 quantity squared equals 25. And there we have our equation of our circle. Even though we weren't given the center or the radius, we were able to find the center and the radius. Now let's graph this guy. So if the radius is 5, let's go 5 in every direction. I'm going to erase some of this nonsense up here. 0, -2 was the center, and then we're going to go 5 in every direction because that's the radius. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Here we go. This might be ugly. Bear with me. Hey, yep. How did I do? I don't know. Hopefully you did better than me. Okay, number 3. Great, we have our center. This is good news. So we could say it's x minus 3 quantity squared, because that's my h, plus y minus a minus 2 quantity squared. So we all know that that's y plus 2 now, yes? Y plus 2 quantity squared. That equals the radius squared. Rats! We don't have the radius. So we got to find the radius now. If it's the center at 3, -2, which is right here, where that red point is, and it's tangent to the y-axis. What tangent means, class, is tangent touches only once. So it touches the y-axis only once. So your circle doesn't look like this, because that touches the y-axis twice. So the circle doesn't look like that, nor does the circle look like this, because that touches 0 times. It touches the y-axis once, and only once. So if we look here, your circle is going to look like something like this. It touches once. So I ask you, what is the distance from the center of my circle to the outside of my circle? This is 1, 2, 3. This is 3 squares, or the distance is the number 3. Distance is 3, so 3 squared is my radius squared. So for my equation of my circle, the answer is 9. X minus 3 quantity squared plus y plus 2 quantity squared equals the radius squared, which is 9. And that made it look ugly. Okay, equals 9. So graphing my circle, let's go 3 in every direction. 1, 2, 3, up 3, left 3, down 3. And there's our circle. There we have it. So hopefully that goes well. Let me know if you have any questions when you get to class tomorrow. Bottom line, as long as you have the center and as long as you have the radius, you can write the equation of any circle. So make sure you get that center and make sure you get that radius, and then the rest is a piece of cake.